You are listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast following a 5-0 beatdown against the Buffalo Sabres that saw Tyler Ennis score a hat trick, Matt Murray earn his first shutout of the season, but a couple injuries to boot. I'm Ross Levitan. With me as always, Brandon Pillar, and recurring guest on the Postcast at Lalim's Martian. Billsy, start with you, of course, a game that was overshadowed, which we'll get to, but let's start with the vibes. 5-0, a shutout win. Got to feel good about that.
The vibes are immaculate, Ross. And hey, kind of funny, we get a hat trick combined with another shutout here, just like Brady and Forsberg. So it's nice to see the best to ever lace them up and Tyler Ennis get one with Matt Murray here. And that's got to be huge if you're Matt Murray to complete that shutout. And this is a game we talked about as being winnable. And not only did the Sens win them, I mean, this was a clowning. Like all these
game.
Yeah, this was a straight up clown show because almost all these goals were beautiful highlight reel goals, which the Senators usually might be good for one, maybe two highlight reel goals, but to get 5 and to dominate 5-0, let's go.
3 goals in nearly 3 minutes at the end of the first period. Tyler Ennis at even strength. A beautiful play from Adam Gaudette. And then Drake Batherson getting credit for a power play goal, which, all right, we'll give it to him. Although Tim Stützle thought he had his 50th NHL point. And then Tyler Ennis gets his second of the night. This one assists from Tierney and Adam Gaudette. Don't look now, but Adam Gaudette's getting into a rhythm offensively. Martian, what stood out most to you in that game positively? And then we'll get into the Aaron Dell bashing.
Yeah, well, I was going to say we're going to let Drake Batherson have this goal too because It doesn't seem like he's going to be scoring for a while. Hopefully that injury is not anything serious, but man, love to see the boys flying out there like that tonight. They were really in a rhythm, it seemed like, offensively. Gotta love to see that.
Brady Tkachuk had 12 shots on goal tonight. That ties a career high. Absolutely insane. And him and Austin Watson were around the net all game long. Not to jump ahead to our Sens Central standouts, but there's 2 that I just mentioned. Okay, we can't bury the lead any longer. Aaron Dell now, with the caveat this is a goalie-friendly show. We will get into some Matt Murray props as well, but what the hell is this guy doing? Comes out from his crease, drops a shoulder into Drake Batherson, who's coming in with a ton of speed. It's a dangerous spot on the ice. He knows that he's coming in fast. It's a kind of a nothing play behind the net. Drake doesn't really have a chance to separate the player from the puck and have an opportunity. It's just a play that happens 100 times in a hockey game. The regroup behind the net. Pilsy, what do you think? Try to put yourself in between the ears of Aaron Dell. I know that might be hard to do.
I mean, hey, yeah, you said it. This is a goalie-friendly show, but that was an absolute scumbag move. Like, there's no excuse for that. And Mike Johnson talked about it on the broadcast. That's Aaron Dell taking advantage of the privilege of the safety that's provided to goalies in that area and using it to his advantage in a dangerous way. There's a reason why we can't just run the goalie because they've been given that trapezoid to say, hey, you can try to play the puck here, but you're not allowed to assume that you're just a player on the ice and throwing hits out there, especially when Batherson wasn't in possession of the puck. So even if you were just a regular skater, that's not going to fly. And the worst part is Batherson is respecting him and trying to speed past him and avoid him. And then Aaron Dell throws the shoulder into him. So he's not expecting that at all. And he's going at a much faster speed than he would if he saw a defenseman there ready to throw a check, right? So for Aaron Dell to do that is just unacceptable. And then them showing of a highlight of him doing it earlier. So clearly,
yeah, he's a repeat offender.
This is a thing for this guy. Yeah,
it's the thing that he does. He takes the body. I guess
he took it last week out in the hash marks. This guy's a wanderer back there. Thinks he's playing Quidditch or something. Getting all over the ice. It's unbelievable. Stay in your crease. Try to stop the puck. I know it's not easy for him. The guy's career save percentage went down tonight. Barely. His season save percentage went up, and he let in 5 goals. So do some quick math.
What a game.
Pal. Holy. You guys see the play that he did on like this same move where he puts a shoulder into a guy on Stone? Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to do it to Sens and former Sens right wingers, I guess. That's his MO. I can't believe like he just completely drops the shoulder on him like that. it's a pretty bonehead move in my opinion. And I honestly, he's really lucky that the Sens didn't decide to take a liberty on him, or I think the thought even said it in the intermissions. Like Dahlin was fair game at that point. It's like you do something like that, you do put the target on your teammates' backs. As much as you hate to say it, and people will say you're a hardo for talking about the code like that, but that's hockey, baby, and that's what makes it so exciting, right? Like nobody was turning the channel on tonight's game in the second and third period because you knew that the Sens were going to come out and try to make a statement. And I'm actually kind of really glad that they went the route that they ended up going, where they did show themselves. Watson was all around the net there, but I'm glad that they decided to, win the game. They got another game on the schedule with the Sabres involved. So see you on the 17th of February, Buffalo, because the Sens are going to reload. They're going to get the lineup hot. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Scott Sabrin get called up that night. And it's Peyton Krebs. You might get the flu before that game because the big boys are coming out for that one. And if Buffalo wants to play that way, then Sens are more than happy to match it.
Yeah, they do have some players in their lineup, in their system that are happy to go down that route. But tonight they took the right path to a 5-0 victory. Tyler Ennis hadn't scored since the season opener that all three of us were sitting side by side for. He gets 1, 2, and a third. And it's nice that the third wasn't a cheeky empty netter. It was late in the game, but an absolute rocket wrister from way outside the hash marks. And the karma's just right there. If you're Aaron Dell, if you're the Buffalo Sabres, that's got to be a tough night. And apparently he was told after the game, he said, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I'm really sorry, but get out of here with that trash. And by the way, former Nodak player. So we do not claim him amongst North Dakota hockey players either. But that being said, another storyline that just continues here is the emergence of Alex Formenton. Martian, you're clipping this game. Everyone can go check out all the clips at Leems Martian on Twitter. But man, the one that caught my eye was how easy he got past that Bryson fella. I don't even know who he is. He must just be making his first impression in the NHL. But it looked like, at the airport when you're walking in the middle, but then there's that walking sidewalk. Formenton was just on the moving sidewalk going 100 miles an hour past that kid.
Yeah, you said it. He was literally flying. And you said easy. It looked easy for him. Like, I don't know what it's like. He's got jets on the back of his skates. Honestly, and even the guys on the broadcast were like blown away by him. Right? Like Mike Johnson was like, I've never seen this in today's NHL. Like everybody's a good skater now. You don't see guys blow guys away like this. And Formenton was doing it, and he has been doing it every game. I'm clipping breakaways of this guy nightly. At least one a night.
Yeah, it's constant. And hey, that Formenton continues to stay hot. And even with 2 forwards injured, the Sens are able to pull this off. I think that's definitely something that needs to be looked at. And yeah, obviously the Batherson injury looked very serious, and he's the leading point scorer on this team, so it's a big deal. But losing Dylan Gambrell is also a big deal because Colin White's not quite ready to come back, and it'll be interesting to see who the Sens bring up for center if Gambrell is in fact out for a while.
Naturally, Clark Bishop's probably next guy into the mix. Him and Mark Kastelik, another centerman, are the two extras right now. A little. With the taxi squad. I wouldn't mind that. And Tierney, this line, like, I don't know what's going on with the Sens bottom 6. We're begging for them to get going because you'd figured it out with Formenton and Stützle together. That top line, they're still chugging along. Like, as much as they're not scoring as like they used to. Brady Tkachuk had 9 shots against Pittsburgh, now 12 tonight. That's ridiculous. So they're trying, they're doing what they can, but the emergence of this Tierney Ennis Gaudette line, holy. Like, did you see? I guess you probably did, because even as bad as he was defensively, Adam Gaudette has been dazzling with the puck since he got to Ottawa. Eh, Martian?
He has been. I really don't want to brush over the hat trick by Ennis here too, because
we'll get to our standouts.
Okay, good. Because honestly, Gaudette's looked really good though as well on that line. Like for a guy who sat out as long as he did, and just to be thrown into games the way he is, and he's not always playing with the most skilled guy, he must be pretty happy to find some chemistry with a guy like Tyler Ennis, who also playing with that chip on his shoulder. So Gaudette, I've had no problem with him. He looks a little lost in the defensive zone sometimes, but we'll let that slide.
Yeah, we certainly will. Pilsy, I want to throw this question from Joe Bell at us, and we appreciate everyone in the chat, especially after a Senators victory on a Tuesday night. A lot better vibes than last Tuesday when they fell 3-1 to the Buffalo Sabres. I call the 4-2 win, so I'm even more ecstatic. 5-0, the final score. Joe Bell asking, a couple straight games where Norris was kind of a non-factor. Are you worried about the lack of production from the Sens' 22-year-old number one center?
Not at all. I mean, sure, a little bit of lack of production, but when you take a look at his goal scoring pace up to this point, it's been pretty good. So he's afforded himself a little bit of a slump here, I would say is definitely fair. And no, you know what? It's actually a good thing that Norris has been a little bit cold because the rest of that team needs to stop relying and expecting the first line to just carry them. And that hasn't been happening. And look, we're laughing about who's stepping it up. Tyler Ennis hadn't scored a goal since opening night, and the guy just got a friggin' hattie. And he could have got 4 goals because that one that rang off the crossbar was a damn close one, and that could have had the hat trick earlier. So sometimes you need your top players to not shoulder so much of the weight and have other guys be like, all right, I'll help out. I'm going to step up my game here.
Martian, we've got Nikki in the chat praising Josh Brown. We've got Kevin in the chat praising Josh Brown. Speak to us, brother. Speak to us on Josh Brown tonight.
Listen, guys, Josh Brown takes a lot of heat from this fan base. So when he has a good night, you got to give him his flowers. Very similar to Dylan Gambrell, although Gambrell doesn't really see the negative side of things like Josh Brown does. So Josh Brown tonight, didn't notice him, which is perfect. That's exactly what you want out of Josh Brown. You know, those two, the breakout pass was great. Good breakout pass for Josh Brown. 2 assists is really good for him. He had 5 hits on the night, almost 15 minutes worth of ice time. You know, you gotta love it. When he's not getting, I mean, I guess it takes a 5-0 win for him to not get ragged on by the fan base, but he was doing his thing. He was shutting guys down, and the score reflects that, and you know his plus minus reflects that too.
yeah, it certainly does. A great night by his standards. Still played the least of any defenseman on the Ottawa Senators, whereas for forwards, and we touched on this already, but Dylan Gambrell only played 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Drake Batherson only played 5 minutes and 38. So they're down to 10 forwards with so much time left, more than 40 minutes left in this game. Which one stood out most to you? Who picked up the slack most as we get into our Sens Central standouts in this 5-0 victory? Pilsy, I believe it's your turn to lead us off.
Well, he was my locked-on player, and I'm going to stick with him. Adam Gaudette had.
I thought you were going to say Formanton just because he's your guy.
And 3 in a row.
And speaking of guys being hurt, were you guys a little nervous when the trainer was looking at Formanton's wrists on the bench there? Like, that would have been another big blow. And that was fairly early in the game, too.
And Shabbat was hurt at one point, too. Like, imagine what both those guys could have been out. Like, that's a lot of dinging up to go through just to beat the Sabres. But
good thing Pacioretty paved the way for that not to be a serious injury. I mean, geez, the rounded glass there definitely helps. But back to Gaudette, like that's that kind of play, him being able to show, like DJ Smith calls him a shooter, but he was a disher tonight. And 2 apples for Adam Gaudette looks pretty good too, because that's what really created this massive momentum swing for the Sens to be able to get ahead. And even with guys injured and other guys needing to step up, Adam Gaudette was one of those guys.
And still more guys injured in this game. People are mentioning Artem Zub looked uncomfortable at the end of this game, although his last shift was with 2 minutes left, or he got off the ice with 1.5 minutes left. So we don't know if he could have come back, but definitely left uncomfortably. Thomas Chabot went in awkwardly to the stanchion at the end of the bench. That would have been in the second period when they had the long change because he was charging offensively. Got rubbed out. That was an awkward play, but he came back. So no worse for wear, at least from Thomas Chabot's standards. Maybe missed a shift or two as he didn't hit 10 minutes in any period today. Hey, if you're looking at a positive too with this busy stretch of hockey coming up, Thomas Chabot only played 23:44 tonight. So for him, that's pretty low from what we're used to. And of course, score effects comes in there. Thomas Chabot was on the ice for 4 of the Senators' 5 goals in this game. So that was great to see. There's a question in here before we continue on, or maybe we'll save it till after. Let's get our Sens Central standouts, and then we'll finish up with this conversation. I think it was Sean McDonald writing in here. It was saying, who would you pull up from Belleville? Like, would you just roll with Kastelich and with Bishop? Or should you go down to Belleville and grab one of these young kids and maybe give them another cup of coffee, simmer on that one for a little bit, or let it brew, as I say, the coffee mentioned there. But Martian, who's your Sens Central standout? And I think we could probably go around the horn twice here with the type of game this was.
I'm glad you mentioned we're going to go around twice, because I really have two guys that I want to point out. And the first one is Matt Murray.
Nice.
I mean, guys, the shutout really speaks for itself, but it's a 32 save shutout. I posted the clips earlier tonight on my Twitter account, Lalim's Martian, and there's so many in there where it was one-timers, quick moves, and he was doing his job all night. So really happy with the steady play of Matt Murray, and it allowed the team to do their thing as well. When you know your goalie's confident, the team's going to play confident and so on. So Matt Murray.
What did you like about his game most? Because, I mean, he wasn't tested early. I think it was later on when the score is kind of out of reach. And at that point, yeah, maybe it's not as high pressure of a situation, but if you've ever played in the goal, doesn't matter if it's 9-0. As long as there's that 0, you still have absolute desperation on every shot.
Yeah, here's what I liked is that he never allowed the seed of doubt to ever seep into the entire team.
Yes.
He was there the entire night. He could have, there could have been even a goal that maybe wouldn't be his fault, but that never happened. So, like, if it were to happen where they were to be scored on, everybody could look at each other like, like we've come back from 5-2 or 5-1 before. Who's to say the Sabres can't do it to us? So
they actually haven't come back from down 2 goals in a game this year.
Yeah.
Okay, well. I'm talking about, the Sens, the Sens looking at themselves and having that seed of doubt planted, right?
Yeah, 100%. No, I get what you're saying. I'm just having some fun with it. My first one, and I can't believe it lasted until the third guy, the best to ever lace him up, Tyler Ennis, with 3 goals and had a season high 18 minutes and 25 seconds of ice time, 6 shots on goal. He was mixing it up too. I loved the penalty that he took on Skinner. Yeah, sure. Maybe you don't want to sit for 2 minutes, but I love the cheeky little slash saying like, nah, you and I were about the same size. Like, I think he wanted Skinner to turn around and give him one. I think he wanted to get into it a little bit at that point, but he settled for 2 minutes in the box, comes out and then finishes off the hat trick. When he is contributing in the bottom 6 and he's a guy who can play a shift up, he started up before even Batherson left with injury. Ennis was getting a lot of shifts up on the top line with Norris and Tkachuk tonight. So he was getting that too as well. So I really loved what I saw from Tyler Ennis. Different player since he's been back from his 2-game stint up in the press box, right? If you look at it, he had the assist in the game against Columbus as well. So now he hasn't played more than 13 minutes in a game since December 6th. And now he just played 18-25. So I got Tyler Ennis right there. Pilsy, let's go around the horn once more.
All right. I was going to give you back-to-back ones if we're doing snake draft, but if you're handing it over to me. Okay, damn. All right. I'll give it back to you then.
Well, if you're going to offer, I mean, Jesus, pass it over. Puff, pass.
There's plenty. Don't worry.
I'll take the guy who looked most serious about going after Aaron Dell and had himself a hell of a game too. And he might be even thrust into more action. Shocker, I'm taking 2 right wingers, Austin Watson.
Okay.
And he even, the first dig he took right after, he gave him like just a little cross check. And then at the end of the whistle, pushes in. And while he's leaning on the back, and Dell skates all the way, as far away from the scrum as he could get. And then when he walks back, Watson's like, all night, buddy. All night. And then
I love the penalty he was on Skinner too.
Yes.
Skinner was agitated all night long. And while we're on the topic of Skinner,
allowed on him.
That's what I wanted to get to, Martian, because if anyone doubts that there are hockey gods, I think this squashes that, because the Senators were due for a goal taken back that was caused by, this time it was a ref's early whistle, not a ref's non-whistle.
Yep.
So in a sense, you knew they were going to get one of those tonight. And for it to happen right off the hop, a nice thing. And Skinner was livid. And I think I saw Martian, maybe you clipped it, but Watson right off the first face-off gets in Skinner's kitchen and gets under his skin. So that's a good pick, Austin Watson. Definitely a good night. And hey, the ice time's up there again for him, over 14 minutes.
He's going to need to hit the treatment room tomorrow because he was up at like 18 minutes against Columbus as well. But he's been playing some of his best hockey as a Senator the last couple of games.
Yeah, you know what happened there is after the first period ended, they start like Austin Watson was getting double shifted to start the second period because the Sens were trying to make that statement to Aaron Dell, right? So that's where I think he accumulated more than usual ice time wise.
Yeah, I loved it though. I liked seeing it, and then there was a play where I think you might do it, but he pulled back where he was coming in with the plow. And he heard the whistle and he let Dell off the hook. He could have made that into an ugly sequence.
Again, like I'm kind of glad he didn't. And it shows that he has a little restraint. He's not one of these other guys out there who's just like a total bonehead who's just he's gonna do that no matter what because that's the right thing to do. Like he was waiting for the right time and place. I'm sure if there was a questionable moment where he could have got a good shot in where it would have looked like he didn't do it on purpose or something, I'm sure he would have done it, but he's smart enough to know that all he's going to do is get himself suspended or a penalty if he ends up going in there.
All right. Yeah. I just had my two. So I've got Ennis and Watson, a pair of depth guys that stepped up here. Who you got for your second one? You got Adam Gaudette and Pilsy?
Well, Ross, when you talked about getting up in Dell's kitchen and acting like you were serious about the situation, I thought you were going with Brady Tkachuk for sure, because Brady Tkachuk made it very clear to the Sabres. It wasn't necessarily Dell, but it was anyone that was willing to listen that he was not impressed with what happened there. And you mentioned it. 12 shots on goal, 12. So this guy, it's what we say all the time, right? He brings the team into the battle. Tack on 2 apples for Brady Tkachuk too, and 3 hits and 20 minutes of ice time. So that's an all-time Brady Tkachuk stat sheet if I've ever seen one. Maybe toss in a couple more hits actually usually, and 5 minutes for fighting if you really want to spice it up for Brady. But that was a great game for him. And sure, it's been a while since he scored, and they talked about it on the broadcast, but
9 games.
He's still able to chip in offensively with some assists, and you can't say he didn't try when he got 12 friggin' shots on net, eh?
Yeah, he was giving her. You could tell he really wanted to break that goal scoring slump, especially at the end of the game when the team was up. He wanted to get his cookie to see if he could do a litlittle bit of slump busting there.
Absolutely. Who you got to wrap us up?
So I guess it's my turn again. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Nick Paul. Going to be an unsung guy tonight because there's so many. I could easily go with Stützle, and Stützle had a friggin' incredible game, and I think we could talk about him. We talk about him enough, but I'm going with Nick Paul because not only did he announce today that he's going with his new foundation, Paul's Points, and he's committed to the city, and he wants to be part of Ottawa. You don't hear that a lot from our players. To me as a fan, that means a lot to hear that from a guy. I think that's an important thing that we have a guy like that who's willing to say he wants to stay in Ottawa, especially too as the longest tenured guy in the team. He's seen them when they've been like the shittiest. So Nick Paul, and then the penalty kill tonight was incredible, right? So that whole gang, I see him as kind of the leader of the penalty kill in a way. So I know I think they killed 4 penalties. 5. So really great job. You got to think that Matt Murray's going to appreciate them killing off 5 penalties as much as he had to do with it himself. But Nick Paul is just kind of one of those guys you really root for, and I hope he actually ends up getting a bit of a longer term contract than maybe some people are speculating that he gets, because he smells like a hometown discount kind of guy to me, and maybe we can get him for a little longer. we can kind of get him for a bit of a longer term, possibly here.
I like that.
A little less dollar.
Man, he almost played 5 minutes short-handed tonight. So you're right, the leader of men on the PK, whereas Formanton played 3:49, same as Austin Watson. Artem Zub, 6 minutes and 2 seconds. Nick Holden, 5:58, all short-handed. Even Victor Mete, some stick taps, over 4 minutes, killing penalties for him. Did have a couple giveaways as well. And as Graham Scott points out, Nick Paul, Binghamton Sens alumni. As far as Carlo Koliakovo thinks the team's still there. Carlo's a great guy. Just poking fun at him. All right, 2 more points before we move on. The first one, and Rav's asking us this as well. I mentioned Sean McDonald as well. Shout out Rav, Central Citizen over here. Well, they've got a decision to make here as they play on Thursday and right now are down 2 healthy forwards. Martian, who are you bringing up, putting in the lineup for those spots that Batherson and Gambrell will open up?
So is there a rule with the taxi squad guys that you have to bring them up every now and then no way? So, okay, so forget that then. I don't know.
You can live on the taxi squad.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let those guys chill in the taxi squad at least in one of those spots you need to fill, and I'd like to see whoever they think that is ready to be the young guy that comes up. I think Sokolov would be a great option to come up and maybe take that spot of Batherson if he is out for a while, because he has that top end offensive talent that you need from a top 6 guy. I'm interested in seeing Kastelik, but I'm not overly excited about him. So I mean, if they end up going with Clark Bishop in that case, I think that makes total sense too. But again, if the guy deserves a shot or a look, then I'd be more than happy to see him as well. But I think Clark Bishop would be my first choice for the center slot there, and then I'd go with Sokolov.
Just remember, Clark Bishop revenge game. Carolina Hurricanes are their next opponent.
Hell yeah, get Clark Bishop in there.
There we go. Hey, guaranteed a goal right there. You heard it from Lalim's Martian.
Love it. If I'm picking 2 players, I probably just take the guys on the taxi squad, because I mentioned it. This is a crucial time for Belleville. So as much as I'd love to see Sokolov come up, that team needs to win some games, and I would be heartbroken if finally there is a season in the AHL where there is playoffs and Belleville just straight up misses it. So I maybe it's just my Belleville bias. It's close to the heart, but I want to see them do well and get in the playoffs here.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Can Pinto go down and play in the Belleville playoffs if that's...
Yeah, but he'd get lost on the way. He doesn't know where Belleville is, dude. He's a National League kid.
Yeah, but let him have a few extra games. It's still a short season for him. That'd be
it's
fun
not
to
a bad
watch.
idea. I like it.
No, it's not a bad idea at all. I actually really respect that idea. If it works out, because if he can play enough games in Ottawa, maybe you just do that, and maybe he could play alongside. Boom! There's Enzo, Tyler Ennis with 3 pucks, 1 for each tuck.
What a
tonight.
legend!
The best to ever do it.
The reason I bring up this photo of Tyler Ennis is because the boys are in the locker room. We do not yet know though who gets the goggles. Do you think it's Tyler Ennis? Because I am at the edge of my seat. I am at the edge
give
of my
Murr
seat.
the goggles. Maybe give
Yeah,
Murr
he just had them though. The guys are going to give it to Ennis.
He needs the best speech ever for the best player ever to ever.
Yeah, but we know he kind of freezes up when the microphone gets on him, right? He's only funny when the mics are off. So he might know, so he might panic. So we'll see.
So the Ottawa Senators win 5-0, the final score against the Buffalo Sabres. Up next Thursday, the Carolina Hurricanes. We've got 2 Locked On Senators podcasts between now and then. But first, I want to ask the boys, and I have my own take on it. Who starts in goal? Because now you've got a good problem to have. Both guys coming off great efforts. I think the choice is clear, but let's end off as a true goalie-friendly show. Screw Aaron Dell. And also, coming off the wire right now, quite frankly, it's a bullshit play. It sucks. That's the quote from Sens captain Brady Tkachuk, and I think he hits the nail right on the head there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's not much more you can say other than that. And if we're going to go for who plays next game, Matt Murray. I mean, if this guy's hot, you got to keep him going. And Carolina, that's a good team. And you're going to want a confident goalie in there. Not that Anton Forsberg isn't confident. Also, honorable mention, shout out Anton Forsberg for throwing the hat on the ice. As soon as it landed, I was like, there's only one hat in this building. That's Anton Forsberg's hat. So that's awesome that he did that for Enzo, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And hopefully Ennis keeps that hat.
Absolutely. Well, we know, just getting quickly back to the guys who are potential call-ups. Well, Graham Scott mentions Crookshank. He's still on his way back from injury, unfortunately. That would have been cool. Bend over, says Jake Lucchini. Is he getting me there?
Oh, yeah, he's getting you there.
Over? Nice. Way to go. I got caught.
That's all time.
That's all time. He's saying that Pierre needs to sign Jake Lucchini and get him up there.
Lucchini.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I can't believe I just got caught in that.
You totally did. That was awesome.
Way to go, Ben.
But I agree with the Murray take. I think that you gotta keep him rolling here. Like he's feeling it right now. You can kind of this guy, Ben. Mr. Dover.
Hey, Brian says Pills needs to take a nap. Pillsy, all right?
Oh, never better. If my eyes look a little squinty, it's not because I'm tired.
Yeah, for
I'm
Brandon
out in BC,
Pillar
I'm
in
having a
British
good time.
Columbia for
Yeah.
Lalim's Martian. Any last words, boys? Otherwise, I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head, and we appreciate everyone joining in on a postcast after a shutout victory. The Senators' first shutout since December 11th or 14th. Anyways, against the Tampa Bay Lightning, when Anton Forsberg got the shutout, Brady Tkachuk got the hat trick, and as you aptly pointed out, tonight, again, hat trick and shutout go hand in hand. So the Senators, that's some goalie-friendly skill from the guys up front, getting the Hattie on the board. But what are you talking about tomorrow, Martian? What's your overwhelming, lasting impression, if I could speak English, on that game? Ben's got me in a mental pretzel. Right
you are in a pretzel, yeah. Credit to Ben. It takes a lot to put Ross in a mental pretzel, so you really got him there. But now we know we can do that to him, so keep him coming. Just kidding. No, but
I need the instant replay on me, like squinting.
Yeah, there's lots of names that you're going to be able to trick Ross with now that you can think of. So everybody go back to the think tank and let's get him in the next one.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm really happy that they were able to make a statement here with this game, right, with the Buffalo Sabres. It's like now they can say, you know, we are an echelon ahead of these guys. Like, obviously, they're a huge tire fire. We're just like we were a tire fire one time.
The fire
and now
is cooling down for us here.
Yeah, there's like some little plants growing in the the fertilizer of the tire fire that once was. So it's good to see that Ottawa's finally on the rise here. You can tell, you can feel it, and wins are fun. So happy to see
wins are fun. Yeah. Hockey's
Postcasts need to be longer, says Darius. Fun fact.
Tell that to our manager.
I think the longer we go, the more trouble that you guys will get in with the Locked On Network. I don't give a shit.
Oh, I love it. And they love this. This is just guys being dudes.
It's for the fans. It's for the fans. If we want to go half an hour, if they want to go half an hour, we're going.
And that's what we're gonna do. It's a win. It's vibes. It's
can't
an Aaron Dell hate
stop
party.
the vibes.
You just can't.
Yeah.
But we can continue them tomorrow on Locked On Senators. It'll drop around noon, so stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed our Send Central Citizen today. How electric was Cam, Martian?
Oh, yeah. Dude, that guy was incredible. I literally had to quote tweet that and be like, I need to get this guy to be my friend right away. Next time he's in Ottawa, I need him to come hang out with me because the minute he opened his mouth, I'm like, I know I love this guy immediately.
Oh, we knew right when he signed on that you could tell.
Kennedy golf. I'm like, get this guy in for a round. I myself, I love to golf as well.
Yeah, Cam, you got to get your clubs pro fitted by Cam.
Man, Joe commented that this morning too. He's like, that guy looks like Brian McGrath.
Oh, really? Did he? I didn't see the video.
Oh, dude, he was rocking a Sens jersey too. He had like 4
I haven't even seen the video. I was just
in a Sens studio setup. Like it put our studio setups.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this guy's incredible. Yeah, see, and a guy who's that big of a Sens fan,
even more reason to subscribe to the YouTube and watch all the shows.
We got to get him on a postcast. Let's get us all together.
Yeah, we need to. And we all need to listen to Bend Over and like the video. Hit the thumbs up button. And Aaron F is all time. He's just been roasting Aaron Dell all show long. He must just be embarrassed to have the same name as the guy. And frankly, I don't blame him.
Yeah, that's
tough.
Tough one. All right, boys. Any other last thoughts, Pillsy?
Well, we got to do another 40-minute podcast tomorrow. So if I give any more last thoughts, that's all I've got here. So I'm gonna call it on this one, unless you guys would just want to shoot the shit a little more.
No. I think we've got somebody looking to get on the stream. I keep seeing the help button come up.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
We share this with a couple other channels. So they're like, I don't know how to record. And it's because the boys are having the postcast, having a great time. Can we get a Go Sens Go in the chat, though?
Go Sens Go.
Yes, Lassie Thompson, +4. That's who we're going to end
That
up
is huge.
right now.
Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lassie had a good game as well, I thought. So, yeah, for sure.
All right, perfect. Without further ado, we'll save some more for the actual Locked On Senators podcast. We're just having some fun right now with Lalim's Martian, Brandon Pillar. 5-0, the final score. If you're on your way to work, yes, it was a Tyler Ennis hat trick that put them over the top. Drake Batherson out long-term until after the All-Star break. That is bad news. We'll discuss on tomorrow's Locked On Senators just how bad it could be. And then we'll preview another game because there's no rest for the Wicked after another Senators win. And now this is a team that's well over 500 since December 2nd. So keep the good vibes rolling. Get a Go Sens go in the chat. Thanks, everyone, for coming in and celebrating another victory with us. For Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan, and we got Laleem's Martian here after a 5-0 shutout victory over the Buffalo Sabres.